Okay, so today we're going to be talking about two things, the Bantu migration and the Kingdom of Ghana. And so migration is an important word for you to know, and you probably have thought about it before. What's a word we usually, or a thing we usually equate with migration? What's something that migrates maybe every year, and we constantly talk about that? Wonderful. We've got it in the chat. He beat you there. Birdies. We think of birds migrating all the time, and they're in the north in the summertime, and then they are in the south in the wintertime. Anything else besides birds we can think of that migrates? No? Butterflies migrate, like all that stuff. Turtles, yeah, they do like a migration too, kind of thing, like through the water, I believe, or at least that's what I'm led to believe from the movie. I can't remember if it's Finding Nemo or Finding Dory, but I'm pretty sure those are good biology films, right? I don't think rabbits migrate. I think they just make a lot of babies. Um, Salmon, yeah, salmon, they go like upstream to like farm. I don't think it's a big migration. But yeah, migration, it's the move from one country or region to another. And the Bantu migration is going to be an incredibly important historical event because we're going to have these people that are living in southwestern Africa, and they're going to move east and they're going to move south. And while they do that, they're going to spread their language and their culture. And so, yeah, they do migrate, don't they? Someone's like, he, I Googled what animals migrate. No, I already knew that too. You're good. All right. And the Bantu, they weren't like a monolithic group. There were farmers, there were herdsmen, there were people that worked with iron, there were lots of skills. So what's going to happen is as the Bantu move through Africa, they're going to deposit and share those skills. So we're going to see similarities in languages and similarities in religions, cultures. It's just going to be a big foundation for a lot of the culture of Western Africa moving to Central and Southern Africa. And part of the reason why we see such differences in East Africa and North Africa than we do with West, Central, and Southern. Although the Arabs are going to change East Africa a lot too. All right, so here's a showing where we think our earliest estimation of where the Bantu people were, and we think this is around 3,000 years ago. So this is actually recent in history. Then we're going to see moving to these rainforest regions. Now the rainforest is going to be great when they have lots of water, which is awesome. But it's not really great for farming because there's no light penetrating through. And also there was the problem of the tsetse fly, which gave sleeping sickness. So like they bite Saya and then like literally like all Saya wants to do is sleep 24/7 and like even like starve to death while sleeping, which is not super awesome. We don't want that to happen. So Saya says, I'm packing my bags and moving. And they continue to move. And we see then they start going into Central and South Africa as well. Once again, many times focusing around riverbeds because that's an important spot where you can be able to farm. You can grow your crops. Your lakes are also going to be popular. So we're going to see lots of movement continuing south. Some will stay, however, in the rainforest region. And others say, no, we want open area for our livestock, our animals. So this is the Bantu migration in a nutshell. Like I said, short, easy peasy. This is supposed to be what you learned about on Thursday. I'm sorry, I forgot to post the video. But let's get to the big main event for today, Ghana. Now, these are estimations on the dates. And you'll notice that these maps are actually in German. That's the German way of spelling Africa. So I apologize. But these maps are estimations because Ghana's history was oral until we have the Arabs coming later on. So Arabs with writing Arabic, but the people of Ghana, they just spoke their language. They didn't have writing. So this is our guess. It was around 500. We think the Kingdom of Ghana started coming into being. It could be earlier, it could be slightly later. Now, the Kingdom of Ghana is going to be incredibly important because its location is going to be the crossroads of trade. So the Saniki people are going to live there. I'm never going to ask you what people they were, but they're going to farm there. And they called their leader Ghana. So literally Ghana means war chief, but then eventually people just started calling it Ghana after the Ghana of Ghana, which I guess is a complicated way of saying it means war chief, and that's what the country became known after. By the way, I historically have taught students who have lineage and family that is either from or still living in Ghana. The Ghana that we're talking about today is here. The Ghana from that back then is not the same Ghana. It's the same name, but it's not the same country. So I do want you guys to know that. My goodness gracious. How many people are trying to call me? It's driving me insane. Hopefully you didn't hear the do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do, because it was like really stinking loud. Anyways, the whole thing is based on taxes. The whole thing is based on taxes. So what we have here is we're going to have Ghana in this beautiful green color. It's Ghana. Now, to the north, we have in this gray color. Oh, ooh, where's the button? We have salt. So much salt, they literally build their buildings out of salt because that's all they have. It's just salt. It's the middle of the Sahara Desert. All they have is salt. And then down here we have gold. I know, it's pretty cool actually. Now, let's face it, everybody likes gold. Everybody wants that bling, bling, bling. I mean, for Pete's sake, I'm even wearing gold, although it's white gold, which I don't think is actually gold, something else, but we call it white gold. I don't know, or it's like a thing over top of it. But everybody likes gold. Now, Amer loves gold. So, Amer is going to travel to get the salt and travel to get the gold each time he goes through Ghana. Now, Jacob, our Ghana of Ghana, but we'll just say king to make things a little bit easier. Jacob, are you just going to let Amer travel through your land with all of this rich stuff and make all of this profit for free? Will you do that, Jacob?
No.
I agree. He will not. So he, of course, is going to make him pay taxes. He makes him pay taxes. You love the gold. You stop it. Now, he goes to Ghana to get the salt. He then pays some salt when he gets there. He then goes down to Wangara to get the gold. He then pays some gold to get there. Keeps going back and forth, taxed every time. And what happens is we're going to create a circle of awesome, but we'll get to that in a minute. We'll move on with our notes a little bit. So as you probably can predict from what we just showed, the two important trade items are going to be gold and salt. I think the Mr. Nicky song makes you realize that pretty well too. So gold is from a place called Wangara, which actually is where present-day Ghana was part of. And then we also have salt coming from Taghaza and the Sahara Desert. Like I said, we're going to see pictures later on, but there is so much salt there, they literally make their buildings out of salt because it is the only product. There are no trees, so Claire Bear isn't making a log cabin. No, she's making a salt cabin. But like that's all Claire has is salt. So she is very excited when Amer comes because she will trade that salt for anything because she needs everything. I think it was going to be my PowerPoint tomorrow that had that. So I don't know, it'll be Wednesday or Thursday that will show the salt houses and stuff like that. But it's really cool. So, gold, salt, muy importante. There's some salt left right there. Yes, that is all salt. I know some of you are probably thinking, I'd love to jump in that, but then you realize your skin will get super dry. Like if it gets in your eyes, it'll hurt so bad. And heaven forbid you have like a boo-boo or anything like that. Oh, it hurts so bad. Anyways, by 800, we see that Ghana has become more of an empire. And it's because the king of Ghana is going to become more and more powerful. And let me show you how that is going to work. So we have got our king of Ghana. Our Mr. Jacob is our Ghana of Ghana, like we were saying. He goes and taxes. I know, you've never seen something written so beautiful. Now, what does Jacob do with that tax money? He doesn't buy a fancy palace. He doesn't go buy a pack of Pokemon cards. he goes and gets what every guy wants, a bigger army. That's right. Jacob, you, sir, are getting a larger army. You're getting the guys that are the toughest, the buffest, the roughest. You're giving them pointy spears and sharp swords, and you say, go get them, guys. And so he's not just going to admire the awesomeness of his army, he's going to go use it, and he's going to conquer more land. Typing would be easier. Now, you have that more land. You don't have that more land just to enjoy it, just to go look at it. You're going to be able to go get more taxes. So what we have here is Ghana's circle of awesome. The taxes provide more soldiers, which provides more land, which provides more land for taxes, which provides more soldiers. And this is how Ghana becomes an empire. They're going to start going conquering more areas and getting more taxes. Because Amer is probably thinking, haha, Mr. Kenny, I'm actually not going to go through Ghana. I'm going to go around Ghana and not pay the taxes. Well, if Ghana gets so stinking big you can't go around it, guess what? You're paying the taxes, broski. And so that is Ghana's circle of awesome. Taxes to army to more land to taxes to army to more land to taxes to army. Do you get the point? I hope you get the point. Now, also, Jacob has a really great rule. He says, all of the gold in the kingdom will go to me. Now, you might be thinking, because I know right now, Sahil was like, I'm not going to give him my gold. Like, that's the worst idea. Then I won't have it, and you'll just have it. Well, here's the deal, Sahil. You have a big hunk of gold. I should have grabbed my daughter's pyrite so I could give you an example of visual. You have this hunk of gold. We'll pretend this paper towel is gold. Now, you could go to the store, Sahil, and like get your little hammer and chisel and break off a little piece and like hope that it's enough. But that's not a very good or easy way to do business, is it? Because the stores, they all have scales. What happens is you give that hunk of gold to Jacob. Well, you actually give it to Jacob's minion, like Simon or something like that, because Jacob is too good to interact with you because he's king. So you give it to his minion Simon, and his minion Simon will go and take it and grind it into gold powder. Now, they then give Sahil the gold powder. Obviously, not all of it. They take their cut for taxes because, Jacob's got to be king. He's got to live large. So Jacob gets some of the gold. You get some of the gold. Now you can easily go to Onedo's amazing fashion store and buy a fancy Ottoman-style hat because we know you super missed that from our last unit. All right? Now, the king of Ghana will also command an army. Now, the king of Ghana is really more like an emperor because there are going to be lesser kings under him. And basically what happens is, so Jacob rules and he says, Queen Aya, you need to pay me or I'm going to beat you guys up more. Queen Blake, you need to pay me or I'm going to beat you guys up more. Queen Sarah, pay me or I'm going to beat you guys up more. So they pay him the tribute money. They give him gifts. Jacob feels good. They are happy for not getting beat up, and they share in some of the wealth. Ghana Jacob will also be the religious leader and the chief judge. But here is a fun fact, okay? The inheritance of the throne is matrilineal. Okay? And this is what that means. Matrilineal succession means that it is not Jacob's son that becomes the next king. Because normally that's how it would go. Jacob's dad was king, then Jacob is king, then Jacob's son will be king, then his grandson, and so on and so forth. All right? Instead, they believe the royal blood actually goes through the woman's side. So it's actually Jacob's sister, which I don't know if Jacob has a sister in reality, but we'll pretend we'll have Jake-Ina be his sister, and Jake-Ina's son will pass the royal blood, and he will become the next king. So it's kind of interesting that they still have kings, but they believe the power. No, Jacob is not a woman. Jacob is a dude. Come on, Sahil, where are you getting this, man? The king is still a boy, but it's not your son that becomes the next king. It is going to be Jacob's nephew, because they believe the royal power goes through, like the royal blood, like goes through the girl. Meaning Jacob can't pass the royal power on, only a girl can pass the royal power on. It's okay. It's really kind of confusing and hard for us to understand, so I hope you didn't think I was like dissing you. I didn't mean to. Not like that sweet burn I gave to Amer earlier. So, That's how it goes. And I think we should pause here. We'll put a pin in Ghana for a little bit since we're trying to combine like 2 days lessons in here anyways. So we're going to stop our notes there. I shall stop recording. See, I remembered